Welcome back everyone to Welstopia, and I am back here at the tree farm. I currently have the ceiling 15 high from that, and that's because the official wiki says that in order to grow a 2x2 spruce, you need 15 blocks of clearance, including the sapling level, and that is precisely what I got here. And based on my experimentation, no, it does not work. I can get a 2x2 of any other type that allows it to grow in the space, but not a spruce. So therefore, I decided to test what would happen if I dropped this by 1. If I dropped it by 1, I was able to get a spruce to grow. This is the northwest side right here, which is the... Actually, I was always testing on the wrong side, but I still think that this is not going to work. Yes, that does not work in any way whatsoever. While if I do this one, I know, watch it not work. Well, interesting. Maybe it just takes a number of ticks in order for it to work? Oh, yeah, okay, that one just... Either I was very unlucky, it takes a large number of ticks. Well, I better close that off because obviously, see, that's... Yeah, but this side doesn't work in any shape, way, or form. Now, this does give me a very, very leafy one here, but it does give me a full size spruce tree that I can then chop down for a good number of wood, because I've been collecting wood because I've been having a situation where I'm constantly coming down here in order to do the little trees, and of course that is, I don't think, well, bone meal wise, I think this doesn't seem to be very cost effective. It needs a great deal of bone meal apparently in order for this to work, but time wise I think this is a lot more efficient. And of course, since bone meal is not something that I am in scarcity of due to the skeleton farm, is what I'm currently using for my a skeleton farm is currently my main XP farm, so therefore that's plenty on there. Now, it's not a very tall double spruce tree, of course, and that's something maybe I should look into. The other thing I was thinking of, what would happen if I raised the ceiling and enlarged this a bit, and I think redoing this a little bit will work. Now, at least I know how much you need at minimum in order to get this to work, but I only got 49 from that, and 49 is small compared to what I get when I go outside in order to do a spruce. I tend to get a stack and a half from a single tree. And so that's what I think I should do, is either raise the ceiling or lower this area. Obviously, if I just go with the minimum way, lowering it by 1 will do. What I think I am going to do is lower this by 1. Yeah, perhaps use stairs here, find something to do in order to keep things from spawning. Lower it by 1. And that gives me a minimum one. And meanwhile, I can look for another area where I could build a taller area. Now, raising the ceiling would not be a problem here because I checked, and I think the next thing up there is... So, let's see, this is 29 and is at 69. So therefore, there are 40 blocks to work with. But also means 40 blocks to go up and work with. So I'll decide which is the best way to handle this. Now this, of course, is so that I don't have to worry about going outside and worrying about day-night cycles and creepers and all that fun stuff. So let me twiddle with things here and see how it goes. This is the design I decided to go with at the end, stepping down one level here and using granite so that I could remain symmetrical on a 3x3, since the color matches a little bit there. And I wanted, though, to make sure that I knew where was the floor I needed to go. Therefore, this is the optimal place to put it. And that's the optimal place to put it there. At least that's what I think is going to be the case. So let us grab some bone meal and see how this works. And fortunately, it takes a few iterations, I've noticed. So it's very expensive on bone meal. Either that or... Okay, well that one grew pretty quickly. One of those bushy type ones. Now, I want to see where this goes. I notice this never crosses this line right here. And that's the reason why I chose this location. So that it would be possible to have both of them grown at the same time. So therefore that does demonstrate that both can grow at the same time. Now, a bit of a leafy case here. Just seeing what would happen if I did climb this. It doesn't seem to be optimal from the point of view of speed, but it does take care of removing some of the leaves as I go up, which is a bit of a plus on this. Though I believe what I was doing earlier, just starting and chopping, is the optimal for absolute speed. There you go. And now I have in one case managed to get a regular style tree, regular spruce, where you have the trunk and then you only have leaves at the top. I only managed to have that happen once since I started experimenting with this. But we have demonstrated the feasibility of... Oops. Alright, there we go. Just do it that way. Good. As opposed to going this, which should be... Well, it's faster if you can do it well, I think. Which is, of course, the other matter. And I'm not necessarily going to be going... Oops! Oh, yeah, and you have... Well, fortunately, I was at the top, so it didn't matter all that much there. That little... Oh, haha! Oops. Well, I'll get my technique down, because now this space is a little bit tight, as you can see. And so that is the disadvantage of using this room. Maybe I should try to get a larger room where I could really do this, but I have demonstrated that I can get quite a bit of spruce here. Now this is 6442. I think when I'm outdoors, I can get almost that much from a single tree. So I'm not getting as tall. So therefore the max height of these trees, it makes sense because I've got the ceiling up at top, which is going to force it so I have a minimal. And in fact, that's probably why it's taking me so many tries. So what would happen if I take this outside, try planting one of these, and see how many bone meals it takes for it? And I have a feeling that it's going to, on average, be faster, because I think I read that it tries to compute a tree. If it fits in, it builds it, otherwise it fails. And so therefore, it could be trying to build 17, 18, 19 high trees. And of course, it's failing at building them because I'm not tall enough for that. Alright. And maybe all those times I was failing at 15 when I wasn't going down one, that could actually be a simple matter, is that's theoretically possible to get one at 15, but the odds of actually having selected a 15 tree are so small, if that's your only choice, that I just might not be working on that. So it might be possible, but the odds are so low that it's certainly not worth it. Alright, another thing to point out here is I finally got around to color coding my shulker boxes and creating specific ones for them. Brown is for the spruce. This is for my flooring that I'll be using when I'm going all over the place. This is just for where I'm collecting stuff, so I collect it, throw stuff in there so I don't have to go back too often to empty my bags. This would be for diorite, and the reason I'm carrying a diorite one is because getting close to the time I'll be doing the third floor, and this room actually will also be needing diorite. And this is where I'll be keeping tools, because if I have a place to keep my tools, then I won't keep on saying, oh, where are my tools at? Well, now I could check the tools chest. And of course, that's the ender chest. So I think I do need to raise that ceiling a little bit or come up with a new room that has a higher ceiling. I'm thinking which of them would be better to do. Here's the plan. I'm going to increase this one in each of these three directions. That way will give me an even number size for going to this, because that I'm not increasing it that way. So I push it one that way, and that's going to give me an even number, so therefore it'll be optimized towards the 2x2 case. And then I'll also push each of those out so I have a little bit further to expand on each end there. And once I do that, then I have this wall out here that I could use to climb up to get to the top. I can get up to the top, raise the ceiling by 4, and when I raise the ceiling by 4, then I should be high enough in order to be able to more easily do everything. But before I go around and spending all my time doing that, I should do that experiment of checking outside and see how fast my 2x2s grow out there. This looks like a good location right here. Let's just pop this here and 2. Now, I have to admit I was expecting it to be a little bit faster, but not that much obviously faster. Of course, that's one sample. We will need more samples than that, because perhaps all the ones there were particularly slow, and this one was just, well, this one I'm pretty sure was particularly fast no matter what, because yeah, I very rarely get that done in a single attempt there. But yeah, this is much higher also, which I think supports my hypothesis about how much, yeah, because I'm already way past the stack here. Now I think I did notice though at the beginning I had 10 there, which meant I probably started with 8 already in my inventory. So I do have to take that into account there. But that is even before I took off this final bit here. Good. And there we go. Our final count, 64, 42. That is a stack and a half if we discount the 10 I saw when I checked it there. So therefore, yeah, it does definitely grow much taller. Yeah, again, it took only 2. So therefore, yes, I am going to be needing a much, much, much higher ceiling, I think, if I'm going to do this. But I think I got the data I needed, so therefore we'll go back inside and start raising the roof. This is going to require quite a bit of digging and extracting, so I need to get on it, and I'll see you after it's done. I enlarged the room and raised the ceiling by 4. So that also meant that the pattern we have in there now has dark oak for 2 wide instead of 1 wide in the middle there. And after I did all that, I thought about, hey, how about doing some simple math here? And that is, I said outside that I did about a stack and a half. And of course, a stack and a half is 96 blocks, and 96 blocks divided by 4 is 24. So that means that if I wanted to get one of those really huge ones that gives me a stack and a half, I would have to go up by 24, and I am only going up by 19. So obviously I'm not going to get that, but I did get slightly more than a stack, which makes sense. If we go up to 19, we can get above the level of 16, and once you get above 16, you're going to get a full stack. So I think that would be a good amount. So no, I'm not going to do this raising it again in order to get all the way up to 24, because that would be going up by 6 more in order to do that. But I think I got a pretty good result so far, so I could get a stack of wood per tree that I do. And that is my tree farm improved, so I need to go and just get everything all cleared up out of here, and I'll call this done. Now getting all that wood is going to A, use up some bone meal, and B, wear down my axe, so I'll probably be using the skeleton farm a little bit more. And if I'm going to be using the skeleton farm, I'm going to need a storage facility in which to place all the stuff I get from it. So therefore, between clips, I created this. And this is a storage room where I will be placing all the stuff from the skeleton farm. Here I'll be placing all the bones. So that should give me plenty of bone meal, especially if I wind up filling that all up. And this will be for arrows. I really need to create an archery game, because if I'm going to have all of those arrows, I have to really have something to do with it. So I'll need a mini game that involves archery. I'm not too sure what I'll do with that yet, because scoring on it could be a little bit of a challenge. And then here I'll be placing enchanted bows. Well, if I create the archery game here, then I could create bows that are the same for all the players, and by combining various enchanted bows, we could work with that. So therefore, something for wood and for growing other stuff, something for an archery game, which could be the next mini game I do, and that actually completes the second level. Yes, I know there are details to fill out in some rooms, trying to figure out their purpose and all of that stuff, but I have a feeling that is going to be waiting for later. As for the larger details on it, I am done for level 2, which means soon it'll be time to start digging down here and heading down into level 3, which is going to be the next section of the dungeon. And we'll see what happens there when we return for the next episode of Pineleaf Plays Minecraft Welstopia.